Welcome back to another episode of Endurance Icons. We're your hosts, Mark and Jessica Cullen, and we got an exciting episode for you today. We got professional German triathlete, PTO number 12 currently, and multiple Ironman 70.3 champion, Frederic Funk, on the podcast today. How are you doing, Frederic?
Thanks a lot for having me. Happy to be here. Yeah, I'm doing really well. Training's going well right now in the middle of a block. And looking forward to a chat.
Love it. Yeah, I started following your journey, I would say, after 70.3 Worlds last year. And right away, it was super exciting to be able to see if you don't already follow Fred here, he's like super transparent and has all his training data with no power or anything hidden on Strava. And as somebody who's a coach and loves to follow data and stuff, yours was always it's become one of maybe my favorite channel to follow now.
Thank you.
Awesome. So where are you joining us from today? I know you've lived in Girona and stuff for a bunch of this year, but are you back in Germany or on a camp right now?
Right now I'm actually at home, living at my parents where I grew up. We moved out from, my fiance and myself moved out from our base in Nuremberg in Germany in February. We're probably going to move to Austria next month. During that time, basically just crashing at my parents. And over the winter I was on a couple of camps. I was almost never at home. It already started in December. I was 3 weeks in Mallorca, then again another 3 weeks in January on Mallorca as well. The main reason for that was just that my fiance did a study semester abroad there on the island. So I used that opportunity to visit her and do my training there. And it's a really great spot for training in the winter months, actually, because it's really empty, no tourism, and it's a really beautiful island, especially for cycling. I can really recommend it. And then I was 5 weeks in Girona, February, March, and my last camp was a 4-week altitude camp in Font-Romeu in the Pyrenees in France, right before the PTO European Open, which was my first race then in May. So I was on the road a lot, and now I'm just really happy to be home for a time. Just don't have this stress of traveling. It was really stressful for the end, to be honest.
I can imagine. And congratulations on your engagement. Are you going to be fitting a wedding in over top of your training plan anytime soon?
We don't know exactly yet when are we going to do the wedding. My fiance just finished her bachelor thesis. Slowly we can start the planning. So we probably do it earliest end of next year. My condition was that we do it in my off season, so I can really enjoy it. Don't have to sacrifice any training or anything.
Well, we got married last year and we did like a run at our wedding and stuff. So it's you can still fit it in there. It's just people were a little bit hungover on that wedding day run.
That's a good idea. But as my most friends as well are triathletes, it's probably best for everyone. Just everyone has time. No one is traveling around, and so probably end of next year. But we will see how the planning is going.
Love it. Exciting times. So why did you choose Austria as a spot where you want to move? Is there some like key elements you were looking for in a location that you wanted to move to?
My main reason was that I just wanted, like here where I'm living right now, or where I'm training right now, where I grew up at my parents, is basically just at the border to Austria. It's the beginning of the Alps, right at the mountains. And I just I was living in Nuremberg for 6 years. It's a bit north of Munich, so there are not really mountains anymore. It's a great spot. It was a great spot for training and everything, and had a really good training group there as well. And I was living there for 6 years, but the last 2-3 years I realized I'm just really missing the mountains as it's my home. And I was just coming back to my parents more and more often. My main reason was just to move back to the mountains. And obviously I have to compromise with my fiance, as she's not a professional triathlete, and studying now. She is getting into a master degree, which is in Austria, which is just right over the border here. So actually it's just like half an hour from my parents' home. But yeah, in on the Austrian side, and yeah, just really looking forward to live again in the mountains.
But I did see you got her to do a triathlon. She did Challenge Roth. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, I mean, she is a triathlete, just not a professional. We got to know each other. We got to know each other over triathlon as well, like over the junior European Cups, where she was still doing it a bit more professionally. And yeah, last year she did her first long distance at Challenge Roth, where I was actually coaching her for.
Oh wow!
And yeah, like she did it that she did her first long distance before I ever did my first long distance. So yeah, and she did pretty well. And since that, yeah, she was mostly focusing on studying and didn't do a race since that. But yeah, she's getting back into it.
And is coaching something? Are you coaching any other athletes, or was she your first test into coaching?
The funny thing is, after her race, it was pretty good. Like she did, I think, 12 hour 20 minutes, which was pretty good for her at Challenge Roth last year. And I got so many requests if I'm coaching more and more athletes, but I just right now it's not something I never want to do, because I'm obviously really interested in the data as well, and it was also fun to coach my fiance. Or I mean, I'm still giving her advices on what to do and stuff, but yeah, right now I just want to focus on my career and don't want to have any side job near that. But yeah, in the future, I would love to get into coaching as well.
So Mark and I are married and he's my coach. So I would like to see, you know, was there any surprises while you were coaching your fiance?
Any challenges?
Yeah. Anything that came up for you?
It can be pretty tough, like especially in this phase where she was training a lot for herself, and then obviously was pretty tired, and then it was sometimes hard maybe to separate the boyfriend girlfriend relationship to the coach athlete relationship. And yeah, but I think there's so many couples where they also have a coach athlete relationship. For example, just from the pro athletes I can think of is Laura Philipp and her husband. Philipp Seib is also a famous coach. And yeah, I think it's always has some challenges within it, but yeah, I think if you are able in the end of the day to separate it, it's pretty fine. Yeah.
Yeah, we can always try and separate it, but there's always some blur in there. But
yeah.
you find that it's funny. All of our biggest fights are like, well, we're tired and hungry and doing physical activity.
Yeah.
I think our only fights have been around exercise, truthfully.
Yeah, mostly when we are hangry.
Yes, 100%.
It's like, here, just eat this granola bar and then we'll be back in love again.
Yeah.
Too good. But so before, I definitely want to dive into all of your like training stuff because it's super interesting, and I feel like you could give our listeners a lot of awesome info around their training. But maybe you could tell us a little bit about kind of your journey to where you are today. Like, what was your athletic background like? Was it other sports? Was it triathlon? Tell us a little bit about that journey to where you are today.
So I more or less got born into the sport. Both of my parents, they are still doing the sport now since over 35 years, I think already.
They must be so proud.
So, yeah, I guess so. There was a time when they also were like racing professionally. I mean, they were never like fully focusing on the sport. They were always studying full time and then working full time. My mom is a teacher and my dad is a doctor. And yeah, but they still raced with a pro license, and yeah, had some pretty decent results as well. And yeah, I just got born into the sport. Just was always traveling with them for the races, and just got taught by them a really natural way of doing the sport. Like, they were never really pushing anything, obviously, because they had to work or study. So they just tried to implement the sport in their daily lives, just by, for example, going to work, with a bike or running to work and stuff. And on the weekends doing just trips with me and my siblings on the bike, or just like hiking or different kind of stuff. So yeah, we were always like a really sporty family, and triathlon was the main thing. But I mean, I was racing. I did my first triathlon when I was just 5 years old.
Wow.
Which was the junior challenge in Roth, actually. And so I was doing racing. I was learning how to swim, which was obviously pretty good. And I also had some like mates I could do like the swim training with, but I only did like maybe once or twice per week when I was a kid. And mostly I was playing football, so that was my main sport. And I always wanted to be a professional athlete. Just in that years, it was always to be a professional football player. And yeah, later on, when I was kind of getting some results with this few races I did in triathlon, my focus kind of switched. I tried to give triathlon a go, stopped playing football, and immediately just felt that I get better really fast, and also successful and nationally, and then also later on internationally. And my first goal was of course the Olympic Games and short distance, but I only did that mostly until 2018, when I started to do like some non-drafting races, and I was just way better in them than in the drafting races, just because of my bike strength, obviously. And then when you get the results, it's obviously more fun to do that. Did my first half distance, was also there on the podium. It was Challenge Regione Italy in 2018, and from there I just started to do rather like half distance than short distance. And then I was also kind of giving up my dream of the Olympic Games and switched it to Ironman Hawaii. But maybe I have to switch that now again as well. We'll see. Maybe it's now Ironman Nice. Since basically 2018, I'm focused on the middle distance, and it's going pretty well since that. I'm now 25 years old, and so it's still pretty young, I would say, even though there might be even younger ones on the circuit yet, who are already doing long distance. But I just take my time and continue my own journey there.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, you've already had some awesome success. I'd love to talk a little bit about your start to 2023, because I listened to your whole like how they train, the whole road to the European Open, which was awesome to listen to that, and you guys all becoming pals and sharing all your info there. I feel like you really talked a lot about in those episodes that you were feeling really good about your fitness and the kind of gains that you had made into this year, but maybe you haven't necessarily had the results that support that so far this year. How are you feeling so far about your start to 2023, and in terms of results and kind of the fitness that you're at?
Yeah, funnily, I had such a great winter of training. I have really no sickness at all, no injury. I was just ticking off all the boxes, doing every session. Everything went perfectly, and it obviously gives you like a lot of confidence. And I also saw the fitness in training. I had really good results. And then PTO European Open, which was my main goal for the first half of the season, was unfortunately a big disappointment for me. Not only because I had some mechanical problems with my back wheel, but also had just a really bad day, and just nothing to give. And then I was thinking maybe it's just would have been good to maybe be sick for a while or something, or just prepared a little bit different. Just probably was missing some break where my body can really adapt to this huge load of training. And I kind of was giving my body this time after the European Open, and it was Challenge Submarine. The championship was just 2 weeks later. It was already a lot better, but still not where I think I can be this year after this big winter. So yeah, my start of the season was not really how I planned off, and it was a good reminder that even eventually, if I am injured or sick, it's nothing to really like be scared of or something. It can be for good, like that your body can just adjust to the training load, and then you're just coming back even stronger, like everyone's always saying. But it's really true, or you just really have to focus on getting these like really proper rest weeks, and not just like rest days, which I have twice per week as well. But sometimes, like when you really have this big blocks, this probably need more like a rest week at least than just a rest day. And yeah, that was the one thing. And the other thing, just that I should have prepared the PTO European Open, especially as my big focus, should have prepared a bit different, probably moved the altitude camp a bit earlier. So I'm already down of altitude 3 weeks before the race, which is more or less like the safe option. I mean, now I came 1 week before, which worked for me really well a few times already. That's why we did that. But unfortunately, this time it didn't. And so yeah, rather go for the safe option there, and also definitely do a race before that, just for blowing off the cobwebs, more or less. So like my first race of the season is often not good. Last year it was really good, so that's why I was hoping. That's what I was hoping for at the PTO European Open, but yeah, it didn't play out. So yeah, we definitely learned from that. And yeah, like I said, Submarine was already a lot better. But I think yeah, when I get now I got some rest, and now another really good training block, I think the summer will be really good, or at least I hope so.
So something I want to jump on in what you just said is that you have 2 rest days in a week. How do you structure as a professional triathlete? Like, how many hours would you do in a week? And how do you fit that rest day in?
So rest days are never like complete rest days. It's always easy swim on that day, or some strength training depending on. I don't always do strength training depending on which part of the season I am. And yeah, so then it's like usually Monday is a rest day with a swim or maybe some strength. Then Tuesday I have always a hard run, an easy bike, and a hard swim. Wednesday is usually an easy run, an easy swim, and a hard bike. Thursday is like a long run and a long bike. Friday is then the next rest day with easy swim and strength. Saturday then hard run again, easy bike, and hard swim. And then on Sunday it's a long run, and then either a hard bike or another long ride. So yeah, that's pretty much the structure we follow through the whole year. And yeah, of course it depends on the cycle we are in a year, if we do like VO2 max or like threshold or strength endurance training and that all that stuff. But yeah, that cycle we always follow, and it's pretty good. It's working now since I'm working with Dan Loarang, obviously since end of 2019. And yeah, it's good to just always know what comes next.
And I think one of the very unique things about you that sets you apart from most of your competitors is that anyone who's listening to this can go online and see all that training on Strava. And you are very open on YouTube and on podcasts and in your Strava of all of your training. And Mark had talked about it a little bit earlier. Like, you don't hide any of your power data. Why do you do this?
So actually I'm on Strava since I think 2015. I just started uploading mostly for the reason of like the segments, getting the king of the mountains and this champion records, and just to compare myself with others, because I mean that's what like almost every competitive sport is about. Even racing, you're just like comparing yourself with others, and of course trying to be the best in it. And no, I just didn't want it only in races, but also in training this way. Just search some online competition there. And but then I just started publishing really every bike and run since then. And yeah, since a few years, I also do every swim session as well, just to have my complete training there. And I just really always looked up to the athletes or my idols back then, who were like sharing their data and their training, and were not like super secretive about this. I just always found that really, like, this transparency really sympathetic. And yeah, I've kind of strive to be that kind of athlete. And I really have nothing to hide. I mean, people can check all my paces, all my power data, all my heart rate data. And I mean, you can't really, like, I think you can't really, of course you can say like how fit I am or not, if you know me really well, if you're really close Strava follower, but you can't really like steal anything of it, or like, it doesn't really matter for me if other athletes see it. And yeah, also the last years I just built a really great community on Strava even. And also this publishing my training and being transparent basically became my claim to fame. And yeah, and I just it's now that thing what I have, this full transparency. And I honestly wish a lot more triathletes would do that. And it's also another reason, maybe, like, if there are, like, for example, just like doping accusations, just I can just tell the people, okay, then just go on Strava. You can look back all my training until 2015, and you can see really a constant progression of my performance and my training. So yeah, there's really nothing I'm hiding. And yeah, it's fun for me. And yeah, the community on Strava is really great.
And I think that there's a level of confidence that goes with that, of just saying, like, here's everything, and come get me. Who are the,
it's
go ahead.
yeah, it's like more or less, I mean, it's a confidence. It gives me confidence to, when it's going well, of course. But when it's not going well, of course, I still want to publish all the sessions also when it's not going well. And I think that's also really, really important, to just take the followers along to the whole journey, not just really the good times, but also the bad sessions. And then I also, of course, like to write on Strava why it didn't go well and everything, and just can really show myself out there. And there was another thing I wanted to say. Now I just lost it there, but maybe I remember after your question.
That's okay. I got another question for you. So you gave us a great overview of what your week looks like. What are your favorite sessions for the swim, for the bike, and for the run? If you're going out for your absolute favorite workout in each discipline, what is it?
That's difficult. Yeah. I think for swim, it definitely would be some longer intervals at threshold or just under threshold. Maybe, for example, like it was a really great session we did once at Club La Santa Lanzarote. I think the session was from Daniel Beckegaard. And it was 800 meter sub threshold, then 2x400 at threshold, and then 16 times 100 meter at threshold, and all with like a really like short rest. And yeah, kind of these sessions where it's just in the end you have like around 3K worth of threshold. And it's always really fun for me in swimming. I like right now I do that, like, such session twice per week. And I really feel like it gives me a huge fitness boost in swimming, and especially in triathlon. I think it's really important to do this threshold and below threshold swims, because you just need to swim really economically, so you're saving as much energy as possible for the bike and the run. It's other for short distance, where you really have to swim as fast as possible and try to catch the group. And then for the bike, I think I would say it's a long ride, the long easy ride, where I just really can explore especially in the winter when you just don't really have this pressure, I would say, from the races. And just with the road bike, go out there, do a 5 to 6 hour ride, and just explore a new place or new roads where you just usually don't get to with the shorter rides. It's always really fun for me, and also one thing which cycling is really about for me. Other than that, I also really like the threshold sessions there. and then on the run, I would say it's also either the long run, but the long run also can be really, really tough when it's not going so well. So then I also prefer actually, like, for example, just 12 times 1K or something like that. My coach and me have this like standard session where we do 12 to 15 times 1K, where we do the first to the third one always like in a progressive. So always like one at below race pace, one at race pace, so 70.3 race pace, and one at threshold, and that cycle 4 to 5 times through. That's a lot of fun. I also always love to check my lactate. And I usually do those sessions on the track just so I can just put my nutrition drinks and the lactate meter just there on the side. And I even love to do them in the summer in the heat. Always after the session, I just have a really good feeling that I did now a really great heat prep, and the session was really demanding. But good booster for the confidence and for the fitness.
So when you look at like your total training week, what percentage would you say is like swim, bike, and run? What would you allot each discipline?
So the swim, I would say, is like between 5 and 6 hours. The bike is obviously the most part, which up to like 15 hours, and then the run another 5 to 6 hours as well.
Nice. Yeah, it looks like on Strava, most of your weeks are somewhere in that kind of 25-hour range. Have you pushed like in the past up to like 30 or anything like that? Have you tested some of that bigger volume?
So yeah, this winter was definitely the most volume we ever did, and I think in Girona the maximum I hit was, I think, just under 30 hours, so like 29 something. But yeah, we're not really going for that volume, really more for the intensity.
Mm-hmm.
I never have a week where I don't have 2 hard sessions per discipline. It just depends if it's VO2 max or threshold or something else, but yeah, it's always really really high quality training.
And was that something you had to learn over time, that you were more of an athlete that responded better to intensity over maybe just like trying to get as many hours as possible?
That's the funny thing. I wouldn't even say that I am responding better to it, because we found out that I'm responding really, really well to volume. So like, for example, right now my running is of course just not on that level yet, like the best in the world. And I'm running like an average of right now of 70K per week, 75K. And for example, the Norwegians or some of the Danish athletes are over 100K. So there's definitely something I can improve of. Of course, you always have to build up slowly and be careful with any injury or anything. But I'm actually responding really, really well to volume, or like to increasing the volume. And that's why we are not doing it yet. So we just really have this long-term plan for my career. I want to do the sport professionally until my late 30s at least. And that's why I'm also not racing Ironman or long distance yet, and really just try to build everything up slowly and just get the most out of the training I'm doing right now. So the most out of this 70K running, for example. And of course, we also need to keep the speed up with my young age as well. And that's why we do a lot of quality. And if we increase the volume once, the quality will be will be increased as well, of course. Like, so we won't stop doing these 2 hard sessions per week, but then we of course do always just try to do a little more, and that's why we just really have to be careful with it, especially with the intensity. You can just get injured really quick.
Yeah, for sure. Tell me a little bit about, maybe some of our listeners don't know, so maybe you could tell a little bit about Dan Loarang and who are some of those other athletes and teams that he coaches, so people can get the full scoop of what a legendary coach you have here.
So yeah, my coach Dan is also the coach of Jan Frodeno. I think since over 10 years. Anne Haug since over 15 years. Since I think 2 years also Lucy Charles, and then he's also coaching Sarah True, some German short distance athletes, Lasse Priester and Lasse Lürs, or Justus Nieschlag, who is moving up to middle distance now as well. Everyone who is training at him is definitely a really successful athlete. His training must help, must be good. But yeah, he's also, his main job is actually not in triathlon. His main job is the World Tour cycling team Bora Hansgrohe, where he's the head coach. I think since last year, I think he's just like head coach there. And that's why he can't really be with us on the races and just travel around with us. So it's more like a remote kind of relationship. So we're working over training peaks. He's giving me my training plan for the next week, and and then we just write, message each other or call each other. The funny thing is he's actually living here 800 meters from my parents' home.
Nice.
And the chance that we are both at home at the same time was always pretty low, as he's traveling around a lot because of the cycling team, and I'm traveling around a lot as well. I mean, I'm actually not living here just right now for that few months. But that's also, like, of course, how we got known each other, and also how I got him as a coach. And also my old coach Roland Knoll and him have a pretty good relationship, and he was is a short distance coach. And then basically when I decided to focus on middle distance, it was my old coach who said that maybe I should think of a coach who has more an idea about this. And then I moved on to Dan Loarang, and I was lucky as well that he had a free spot that year. And since that I'm working together with him, and hopefully until the end of my career. I'm definitely really happy and trust him 100%, and he trusts me 100%. And I think that's the most important with this coach-athlete relationship.
Absolutely. And with the hours and the training that he gives you, I mean, you talk about like not doing too much too early because you want such a long career in the sport. But fueling the work that you're doing, I'd like to talk about your nutrition philosophy. What does your day-to-day nutrition look like? How do you make sure that you're eating enough and the right things to fuel all the great work that you're doing?
So my nutrition philosophy is a bit like the I would almost say the Norwegian style as well. It's just, as more you eat, as more energy you have to train, and then what you eat is maybe like secondary, but the really the most important thing is just to get the calories in. And I mean, with the help of the Oura ring I'm wearing, I'm also tracking my daily calories. Sometimes I give it a watch, but I mean, I don't really care actually, but sometimes I give it a watch, and anytime I watch it after a hard or long training day, it's in the range of 7,000 to almost 8,000 calories. And then sometimes in the evening I'm lying in bed and just thinking, damn, I definitely didn't eat 7,000 calories today, because it's just so much. And that's why it's really important to eat before the sessions, eat a lot as well during the sessions. Like for easy sessions, I always have at least like 60 grams of carbs per hour. And unless my coach writes me in Training Peaks that for this session I should only take like 30 grams of carbs per hour to have just a little bit more of this fat oxidation and train the fat metabolism, which we don't do too much yet. I think it might be a bit more if I really get into Ironman training once. And and for hard sessions, I eat between 100 or 120 grams carbs per hour. And if I'm really getting close to the races, even like 140 grams carbs per hour, because in the race on the bike, I also try to eat like 140 grams of carbs per hour. And then, of course, like after the sessions, immediately get some proteins, carbs in as well, as fast as possible. And just basically when I'm not training, I'm eating.
That makes sense. What nutrition do you use while you're training?
I'm sponsored by Powerbar. So yeah, that's what I use.
Okay. Any supplements that you use outside of the day-to-day or your in workout nutrition?
Yeah, just since this year, I'm also working together with Pillar Performance, and I'm taking mostly their triple magnesium 1 hour before I go to bed. And yeah, as like I said, I'm also like tracking with the Oura Ring my sleep. And when I was testing it before I signed with them, I just really realized it actually helps my sleep. I have like more deep sleep thanks to the magnesium. And yeah, then I of course was happy to sign with them, and I use it every day just for even better sleep and therefore even better recovery.
Jack Kelly's promos for it worked, I guess.
Yeah. No, it
How
worked
about
pretty well, but yeah, no, it's I was never really a fan of supplements, to be honest. Just like, I mean, I do like blood tests once in a while, and obviously if there was something I'm lacking, sometimes it was iron, then I of course was supplementing iron, especially in altitude. I'm supplementing iron there as well. But other than that, I was never lacking anything. So that's why I never took anything. I don't think then it's necessary that you need to take anything. And yeah, then I just really tried this triple magnesium. Just if it was everyone was just praising it for the sleep, and I was just giving it a go, and it actually really helped. So yeah, was surprised for that, but yeah, some things might work, but probably it's also very individual. I guess.
And for your sleep, so we were talking before the podcast started about your sleep hours. You are a little bit of a night hawk. So what is your to bed time, and when do you wake up?
So yeah, I'm more this Spanish lifestyle we say in Europe. So my first session almost never starts before 9 a.m. And therefore I go to bed. Or actually in summer when it's lightful for really long, I train until 8-9 p.m. and therefore I just go to bed at 11:30 p.m. and then I sleep until probably an average like 8:30 a.m. And yeah, that always worked pretty well. I prefer that lifestyle. I really like to train in the evening, especially in the summer. I just like these evening vibes, and I'm really not a fan of getting up for an alarm. If I would wake up naturally myself at 5 or 6 a.m., then okay, fine. It's then I would probably everything would be just moved a bit earlier. But I just overall just like to give my body the sleep it needs, and that's why I don't like to set alarms, and then I'm just always sleeping like until 8, somewhere between 8 and 9 a.m. But Yeah, I'm training alone, of course. So that's also a thing. If you would have like a group, where I was on Nuremberg, where I was living, or of course also had morning swims, and then for that I had to get up earlier. But yeah, that's definitely my least favorite part of triathlon, to jump into the cold water at 6 or 7 a.m.
So you need to do it for those early race starts. What time do you need to get up for race starts traditionally?
Like, I mean, depends when the race start is, but like 3 hours before I have breakfast. So yeah, just before that.
Yeah, so definitely breaking what you traditionally like to do then. But the final question I have around sort of all the things that you're doing around the pillars that keep you such a strong athlete is what role does strength training play for you?
Oh yeah. So yeah, like I said, I'm naturally a really muscly guy. So I definitely should really be careful with strength training. So that's the first thing. It's just have to watch the weights, and I'm already gaining muscles. Um, so yeah, this is like a bad but also a good thing, because usually when I have like issues, for example, at the championship at Challenge Submarine, I had some back issues on a bike, by keeping my position. After that, I did like 3 strength sessions, and now the big back issues are gone.
Wow.
So it's like, it can be good, because like my body is just really adapting really fast to this kind of strength training. But of course, this is where I'm also building muscles really fast. So I just can never do too much. That's why I just try to really do it in like small blocks. And most of the time, I when I do strength, it's mostly for just own body weight, core strength. And if I go on the weights, it's only 3 weights, and then I do like always squats, deadlifts, so maybe sometimes lunges. And I try to do like this maximum weight kind of strength training, so like 3 to 4 reps with like a really high load. Just yeah, so the body is, it's more like, yeah, good for like less for the muscles, but more for the nerves and all the connections in the body. But yeah, I didn't do it like almost the whole winter on the weights. But now after submarine, I did like first a block of 3 sessions, and now I will do another block of 3 sessions, and just like do this every few weeks.
So I guess it was a flat race like Samarin that kind of made you realize that having to sit in that aero position for 90K was causing you back issues. Was that because it was a flat course?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it was definitely connected to that. I mean, any hill or something would have helped, and just to recover the back a bit, stretch a bit, and then just get back into aero position. But keeping an aero position for 90K is a completely different thing. And I mean, it's always hard, even when your position is super comfortable. After 60, 70K, it probably hurts for almost everyone in a different way. But yeah, for me, it was already hurting from after 10 kilometer into the race. So yeah, that wasn't the best, but probably also connected to the really cold water. It was just 14 degrees Celsius. So yeah, we almost had no swim or shortened swim. So yeah, I think that was also connected, that with the cold water, because usually I wouldn't have these issues with my position. But yeah, definitely made me realize to maybe do a bit of work, especially for my back. And it's mostly like deadlifts, which always helped me for any issues, if it was in the leg or in my back or anywhere. If I start to do deadlifts, after a few days, it's gone. So it's kind of my secret for that.
Nice. It's nice that it was that quick of a solve.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I said. Like, that's the good thing, that my body is adapting to this to strength training so fast. But of course, that's why I also have to be careful with it, with building too much body weight or too much muscles.
Yeah. So talking a little bit about the bike there, that's definitely an area of strength for you. You always do a ton of damage in races on the bike there. What are some, if we gave our listeners some like take homes, what are some things around bike aerodynamics that athletes should really be focusing on to make sure that they can take the most advantage of that fitness? Because there's so many different things you can buy. What are some of the things you'd recommend the most?
Yeah, that's a really deep topic. I mean, most of the pros haven't really figured it out yet, I would say. And I mean, including myself, and especially something like position, it's just like a constant change. You can't just like get one bike position which might work for one season and then just ride it for the rest of your career, because in the next year your body might like change a bit or adjust a bit different, and then this bike position might be not good anymore. I also realized that this year, like I have right now, I had to, like, before or after Ibiza, I actually changed my bike position a bit, and yeah, then just felt much better again on my bike. So yeah, I think what I would really recommend is definitely get a professional bike fit, maybe even yearly, if you get like these big changes. And that's the first thing. I think no equipment or position is good when you can't just keep the position, when you just have to stretch the whole time. So yeah, that's the most important thing. And then actually probably the least important thing is the bike, I would say. But the things that definitely come before that is like a helmet and suit, especially the combination, which is really interesting. Like I did a lot of testing in a wind tunnel and on a track, and sometimes I was wearing one suit and one helmet was faster, and I was wearing the other suit, and then the other helmet was much faster. So especially this combination was really interesting. And I mean, even if you can't go into the wind tunnel or on the track, that's actually how I do a lot of my testing. I just really search like a flat bit of road. Ideally, it's like maybe 5K, where you can just go 5K there, 5K back. Of course, with not much traffic, and just go there and back, record the speed, record the power, maybe do that 2 or 3 times, then change the equipment and do it again. And it's just a really good way where you can test a lot of things. Of course, you can't really test these marginal gains there. For example, yeah, having this ceramic speed cage, what everyone has got now. I got one now as well, but it's probably gives you maybe like 1 watt or something. If even that things you of course can't test there, but if it's like things like helmet or suit, it actually can be like changes from up to 20 watts even, depending on what you're wearing before. So I think that's the thing most people should focus on. And then after that, I would say it's wheels, which even comes before the bike, and then the bike is just in the end. And yeah, but most importantly, definitely the position.
The position and the rider. Would love to know what do you love doing outside of triathlon?
Well, there's not much time to do anything outside of triathlon. So yeah, it's really just like this 24/7 job. But yeah, when I'm not training or eating, I mean, usually it's really just chilling on the couch watching Netflix or something. And yeah, in the winter, as like a alternative sport, when there's snow, I love to do cross-country skiing. That's also something what I did since I was a little kid. Was always pretty good at it, I'd say. And if probably I wasn't a triathlete, I would probably a professional. And if I wasn't a professional footballer, I would be a professional cross-country skier. So I'd be there in the winter sports. But yeah, that's a lot of fun. It also really great boost for the fitness. But yeah, other than that, it's really not much time to do anything outside of triathlon. Yeah.
So you were going to be a professional athlete no matter what. I was wondering what are you watching on Netflix right now?
So right now I don't really have a series, so we were just watching a bunch of movies. But my favorite series is I'd say Peaky Blinders.
Amazing. Mark and I were just watching the Tour documentary. If you haven't watched that,
Oh yeah,
highly
yeah,
recommend
true.
that.
I still have to watch it, yeah, but it's definitely
Oh,
on my list, yeah.
yeah, add it and
And
enjoy. It's amazing.
yeah, and also love the Formula One, the Drive
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Survive.
so good.
Well, if you liked Formula One, you're going to love the Tour one.
Yeah, I guess.
So speaking of racing, what key races do you have left for the rest of the year?
So yeah, I didn't really race much till now, and it feels really strange. Just
Yeah.
the 2 races, and I feel like everyone had just open Instagram, everyone was just racing around the world, and I was like, yeah, I just did 2 races. My next race coming up is Challenge Weichsee in Austria, which is right here, 20 minutes from here, from my parents' home. So it's my home race. I won that 2 times already, and yeah, definitely trying to go for the hat trick there. And yeah, then the next really important race is the US Open in Milwaukee, and then the 70.3 World Championship in Finland. So yeah, August is the month of the year, and that's where I want to have my peak shape. So yeah, that's why I'm not really stressing much now with racing, and really just try to focus on another good block of training. But yeah, when the 70.3 worlds are done, there's none of these PTO races left. I mean, until now at least. And then there's still a lot of time to race a lot, and probably after that I will race a lot. Definitely have like probably 4 or 5 half distance races in September or October only. So yeah, just basically at the end of the season, it's basically using up my fitness and racing until I'm just completely done. But yeah, making up for that, not racing so much in the first half.
Did you debate trying to sneak in Singapore as well before 70.3 Worlds?
I really would love to race the PTO Tour in Singapore. Yeah, but I don't see it's playing out well with the 70.3 World Championship. And yeah, the 70.3 World Championship is just still so much bigger for me, and especially for my sponsors, than the PTO races. So I don't really want to risk it, with like Singapore being, of course, like in a different time zone, then the travel, then being a really, really hot race as well. And then, yeah, 7 days later, 70.3 Worlds. It's just a big risk. If both would be in one continent, would be a different story, because I'm actually doing pretty well usually on this when I race 2 half distances in 7 days. I'm usually doing really well on the second one. So that's not the issue. It's just really the travel time zone difference and heat race. And yeah, just if it would be other way around, I would definitely do Singapore, like, because for that I would take the risk, but for the 70.3 Worlds, I don't really want to take that risk.
Yeah, makes sense. And so you've had those kind of early season races. Is there any big changes you're making to really try and make sure you succeed in US Open and 70.3 Worlds? Or are you just kind of playing the numbers game of, you've built good fitness, and eventually with enough races coming down the line that it's going to be your time eventually?
I mean, it was a bit tough because yeah, the European Open not going so well after this really good winter. So obviously the first thing you're thinking of is to make changes. But I think, yeah, me and my coach decided it's definitely the best to not make any changes. It's just like to trust in myself, trust in my abilities, and trust in my training, what I'm doing, and just being consistent. So we're just really continuing what we did until now. And yeah, until now it always worked. The fitness eventually came around, and the hard work always paid off. seems like it just needs longer now than usually, which I'm not used to. And yeah, it's a bit annoying, but yeah, I just have to tell myself trust myself and trust my training and abilities. And I really hope that in August, everything will come around.
So you mentioned that Ironman is in your future. When you look to, the next decade or so, what other races and events are on your bucket list to achieve?
I've never really thought like of all these races which are should be on my bucket list. I mean, the one race which I was just always focused on just wanting to win was, of course, Ironman Kona.
Yeah.
I obviously have to add Nice now to my bucket list, and then another long distance race is Challenge Road. Yeah, of course, like where I was living in Nuremberg is basically right next to Roth. So yeah, I was just living there for 6 years. I just know the course there as well, and I was at the race already a few times last year supporting my fiance, and this race is just something else. And yeah, this is definitely that one race I'm really looking forward to when I move to long distance eventually.
Well, it's no secret there's some very big things ahead for you. So we're excited to watch all of these things unfold. We brought you on because you're one of our endurance icons, but love to know who is your endurance icon?
I would say my endurance icons are definitely my parents. Yeah, just their way of their way of loving the sport and doing the sport, and how they brought me into the sport and taught me how to love the sport. It's just really something I look up to, and also their always the kind of balance between work, sport, and family, and that lifestyle. So yeah, it's definitely my parents, even though I personally have like different goals in mind than they probably had with the sport. But in the end, the love of the sport is definitely the same.
Oh, that's incredible. And for all the listeners who want to follow your journey, where's the best place to do that?
The best place, definitely Instagram. You can follow me at Frederic Funk 97. And then, of course, Strava, where I really publish all my sessions, swimming, biking, running, and also gym, with all the power and heart rate data. And always try to give titles to the sessions there as well, and some comments. So you also always know how I feel about my sessions there. And I have a YouTube channel as well, where I should do a bit more. But once in a while, I put some videos up, and I try to rather keep the quality high than the quantity of the videos. But definitely check out my YouTube channel as well. But that's like the 3 main platforms.
Well, we'll link to those in the show notes. Frederic, thank you so much for coming on today. We loved being able to talk to you.
Wow, how great was that? I always learn so much from these endurance icons. If you enjoyed the podcast as well, please consider liking us across social media, subscribing to us on YouTube, or giving us a 5-star rating on wherever you listen to your podcasts. We appreciate you and your support so much. We wish you happy training, and we'll see you back next week.